All right, we're going to work on the roof of our house next. It might seem like the most complicated piece, but as you will find out, as far as the design goes, it goes very quickly when we use the Roof Maker extension. So the roof will be 10 inches. This should be 10 inches wide and 5 inches uh, uh, 10 inches high and 5 inches wide is going to be the shape that we tell the extension. In fact, it's going to be 3 inches tall when we build it, 10 inches wide when we build it, and 5 inches deep when we build it. The extra half inch or the extra inch that we have on this width, our second story is 4 inches deep, but this is 5. That's because I want on the front and the back only to have a half-inch overhang just to make the roof look a little bit less flush to the walls of the house. Okay, and then we're going to use 3 dormer windows. They're going to be 2 inches high. I'm going to make them 1 3/4 inches wide. This is just a personal preference, so let's go with it. All we have to do is we come out to Extensions, Papercraft, Roof Maker. We're in inches, doing dash cut score lines. The roof base width is 10, the roof base depth is 5, and the roof peak height, that's how tall altogether you want your roof to be, is 3 inches. We're not doing a roof inset. A roof inset would bring the sides in just a little bit, so your left and right sides of your roof would tilt toward the center of the roof. This is just going to be a straight roof, so I'm not going to use any roof inset. The roof style is normal. There's also a barn version of the roof style. The barn version actually has 2 angles. It goes up at one angle and then it tilts a little bit more tightly into the very peak. That's all adjustable, but we're not going to be doing it on this particular roof. The dormer height, 2 inches. The dormer width, 1 3/4 inches, 1.75 inches. And it's going to have a single peak. We can do other shapes to the top of our dormer windows. The simplest one to build, though, is a single peak, so that's what I'm going to use. If I wanted to have the peak be a little bit flatter, normally it's half the height of the window, or I should say half the width of the window. I can bring it down so it would be flatter and the base of the window would be a little bit taller. I'm just going to leave this at 0 for right now. It's something you can play with as you play with the Roof Maker extension. Anyway, now that all of those parameters are set, I simply click Apply. And I can close the window. Let's back out, maybe even a little further, and see what Roof Maker made for us. Roof Maker made us the decorative pieces. They're already colored in blue. This is a dormer wrap. It's going to go around the dormer. This is a structure piece in pink. This gray one, is what we'll use to cut out the holes for the dormer. This is a trim piece, sort of the molding that goes around our window. This is our side, on the side of the house, it's a triangle peak, another side. The structure piece matching those 2 side pieces are these. And this is the front part of our dormer window. So this part here, which I'm going to flip a little, is what's going to wrap around the dormer window. So this is toward the front of the house, this is toward the roof, and this part here wraps around this and reaches back into the roof. It's a little hard to see in 2D, but that's what it is. And it made the 2 pieces for the roof itself and the bottom. And the bottom it made hollow because it's going to be awkward to try to glue some of these dormer pieces in, and the easiest way to do it is to leave this hollow so that we can work with it. So what's left for us to do? Well, we wanted dormers, and as you can see, there's no holes cut out for our dormer windows. We have a hole shape, but we don't have any holes cut out. That's my job. It also only makes one each of a dormer window. It's up to you to decide how many dormer windows you want and where do you want to place them. So we're going to have 3 dormer windows. I'm going to bring this to the front, and I am going to duplicate it twice. I'm actually going to duplicate it a 3rd time. That's because I want to use this to be able to come back and fix any problems that I want. I want to have an extra copy of it for right now. Okay, these are 3 dormer windows. They are going to go on the front side of the roof. And if we zoom in on this piece, you'll notice this one has 1 score line at the bottom, and the other piece has 2 score lines, one at the top and one at the bottom. It's going to be easiest to work if we consider this piece to be the front of the roof. So let's back out. Pull our 3 dormer window holes down here so we can keep them nearby. And these are the roof decorative pieces. And just like on the front of the house, when we do a cutout, we need to have the decorative piece cut out just as well. So I'm going to turn on snapping. I'm going to snap this into place along the score lines. Zoom in here a little bit. Good. Okay, so now we have our decorative piece on top of our structure piece, so that when we line everything up, we can cut the holes straight through and everything will line up. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is grab my 3 window holes, dormer holes, and bring them on top here. I can draw, remember, just like we did before, using the Bezier tool, draw a line here, holding down your control to click here, on each side of the decorative piece, flush with the edge, so that when we select those 2 Bezier lines and we select the window holes, we can space them out, make the gaps equal. This gives us a nice even spacing of our dormer windows. If you preferred some other arrangement, feel free to move them around. The second thing I'm going to do is take these 3 windows and line them up. So at the top, and now we have them spaced, we have them aligned at the top. I'm going to make those into a single path with a Control K. I'm going to remove these 2 lines that we made. We're not going to need those anymore. Then I'm going to take this path of 3 holes and just the decorative piece, and I'm going to line that up so that it is horizontally and vertically in the center. Again, it doesn't really have to be in the center. You could move these up if you want your dormer windows higher. You can move them down if you want them lower. So this is a design choice. In this case, I'm just going to keep them in the middle. The second thing I'm going to do is duplicate that set, because we're going to be cutting out these holes twice. Once from this decorative piece, which I will select as well, and Control-Shift-. Now, you're going to notice that something didn't happen. When I drag this, it didn't cut out. And there's a reason for that. And I forget this a lot, so that's the reason I wanted to make that mistake and show you what's going on. Because of the way the program works and the option to have a barn shape, there could be score lines on this. In this case, there are not, but it's still treated as a group. So the first thing you want to do is, with this decorative piece, simply ungroup it, Control-Shift-G to ungroup it. That will leave you with a path. Then you can select the holes, or the whole pieces, and do a Control-Shift-, and then you'll have this. Except I moved these, I really didn't want to, so let me back out of that and just grab our decorative piece. So this is the front of our house. This might be a shingles kind of pattern. You can do with it what you want. This would be the uppermost part of our roof pattern though. Now we have this piece and this piece. This piece, just like on the front of the house, is a complex piece. The difference is this one is grouped. So all we need to do is ungroup it. That will ungroup it with the score lines and with the outer piece. So we want that outer piece, we want the hole cutouts, and we do a Control-Shift-minus. Okay, and again we need to put all this back together. So we'll do a Control-K. When I did a Control-K, change the color, just press D on your keyboard and click a couple of times. You'll get the color back with the matching color. I should say, you need to click on the color you want, of course. All right, so that cut out the holes in our roof for our dormer windows. Now we just have to duplicate a couple of pieces. 1, 2. This will give us a total of 3 dormer structure pieces. Control D, Control D. A total of 3 wrap pieces for our dormer windows. Of course, I could select this one and this one and do Control D, Control D. And we have all of the pieces that we need for our roof. All right, so that's all there is to it. So you can get rid of the hole if you want to, or you can just not cut it when you get ready to cut. And the same thing here. We can get rid of this as well. So I'm just going to delete those 2 pieces. It should be ready for our cutting file now. Construction on this is more difficult. It's probably the most difficult part of the house. But as far as the design goes, we are finished.